In the corridors of high-stakes power, there is a golden rule that the amateur always breaks and the master always guards. The less you say, the more they wonder. Most people are terrified of silence. They feel an agonizing itch to fill the air with noise, to explain their actions, to justify their existence, and to boast about their plans. But every time you open your mouth without a strategic purpose, you are bleeding authority. Welcome to the Stoic Strategist. Today, we are not just scratching the surface of philosophy. We are performing a deep tissue dissection of the ultimate human weapon, the art of strategic silence. We are going to bridge the gap between the ancient stone-cold discipline of Marcus Aurelius, the ruthless calculated moves of Niccolo Machiavelli, and the psychological warfare of the modern elite. By the end of this journey, you will not just be quiet. You will learn how to use your silence to dominate a room, to win negotiations before they even begin, and to build an aura of mystery that makes you untouchable. Think about the last time you were in a conflict. Your heart raced, your ego screamed, and you wanted to fire back a witty, cutting remark. In that moment, you were a slave. You were reacting to a script written by someone else. Marcus Aurelius, the man who ruled the known world, knew that true sovereignty starts within. He said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. When you refuse to speak, you refuse to play their game. You remain a king in your own fortress, while they exhaust themselves, throwing stones at a wall that doesn't move. Silence is not the absence of thought. It is the presence of absolute self-command. Now, we step out of the philosopher's garden and into the cold, grey reality of Niccolo Machiavelli. In the game of power, the person who speaks the most is the person who loses the most. Why? Because information is the only currency that never devalues. Every time you reveal your plans, your dreams, or your next move, you are giving your enemies a map to your destruction. Machiavelli knew that the prince must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. But how do you hunt a fox? You wait in total silence. Think about a high-stakes negotiation. Most people are terrified of a silent room. They feel a desperate, almost physical need to break the tension. They start talking, they start explaining, and eventually, they start compromising against themselves. A true strategist uses silence as a vacuum. You ask a pointed question, and then you stop. You don't nod. You don't smile. You simply look them in the eyes. The other person will begin to scramble. They will offer discounts you didn't ask for. They will reveal secrets they meant to keep. They will talk themselves into a corner while you remain an enigma. But there is a darker side to this. Silence is the ultimate tool of deception. If you are silent, you cannot be misquoted. If you are silent, your enemies cannot find a crack in your armor. They will project their own fears onto your silence. They will imagine you are more powerful than you are. They will believe you know more than you do. This is the essence of the Stoic strategist, using the inner peace of a monk to execute the cold moves of a conqueror. In the next chapter, we will see how this applies to your personal reputation and why the law of scarcity applies to your voice more than anything else you own. The most valuable things on this planet are not the most useful. They are the most scarce. Gold has no practical use compared to steel. Yet its value is infinite because it is rare. Your voice is exactly the same. If you speak every time you have a thought, your words become cheap. They become background noise. They become a commodity. But when a man who rarely speaks finally opens his mouth, the entire world stops to listen. This is what Robert Greene calls law number 4. Always say less than necessary. In the social hierarchy, the person who talks the most is trying the hardest to be liked, to be understood, or to be noticed. That is the behavior of a subordinate. The sovereign, the strategist, does not need your validation. He does not need to fill the silence to feel comfortable. By withholding your speech, you create a vacuum of mystery around your persona. People will begin to invent stories about you. They will assume you are thinking deeper than they are. They will assume you are observing things they missed. And most of the time, they will be right. Marcus Aurelius practiced the art of internal retreat. Even in the middle of a crowded Roman court, he was silent within. He was not reacting to the gossip, the flattery, or the hidden daggers in the senator's eyes. He understood that your reputation is built in the minds of others, and you cannot control their minds by talking. You control them by giving them nothing to work with. When you are silent, you are a mirror. People see their own insecurities reflected in your calm gaze. They see their own lack of self-control. They will respect you, not because they love you, but because they cannot figure you out. But beware, silence is not just a shield. It is the ultimate preparation for the strike. In the next chapter, we will explore the predatory silence of Sun Tzu and how to use your quietness to lure your enemies into the perfect trap. To understand the true lethality of silence, we must leave the philosopher's porch and enter the battlefield. Sun Tzu, the legendary author of The Art of War, taught that all warfare is based on deception. And the greatest deception is to be invisible while standing right in front of your enemy. How do you become invisible? Through absolute disciplined silence. Sun Tzu said, "Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt." Most people fail because they telegraph their strike. They talk about their goals. They post their progress on social media. They seek the cheap dopamine of applause before they have even won the war. The Stoic strategist does the opposite. He creates a black hole of information. When you are silent, your enemy has no target. They don't know if you're retreating, if you're preparing an ambush, or if you have already won. This uncertainty creates a unique kind of psychological rot. It breeds paranoia. In a boardroom, in a legal battle, or in a personal rivalry, the one who can endure the silence the longest is the one who controls the pace. Think of a predator in the tall grass. It does not growl to warn the prey. It does not move to show its strength. It is a shadow until the very microsecond of the kill. This is predatory silence. It is the ability to listen to your opponent's heartbeat while they are unaware you are even there. Marcus Aurelius would call this the inner citadel, a place where no noise can reach you. Sun Tzu would call it the ultimate form. To be like water, which has no shape, no sound, and yet can carve through the hardest stone. But there is one final secret. Silence is not just about the world outside. It is about the war within. If you cannot master the silence inside your own head, you will never master the silence in the room. In our final chapter, we will reveal the God mode of the Stoic Strategist. How to integrate this power into your daily life to become a ghost in the machine and a king in the reality of power. We have traveled through the mind of the emperor, the hand of the prince, and the sword of the general. Now, we arrive at the final, most dangerous level of silence, the God mode. Most people use silence as a reaction. They are quiet because they are afraid, or because they have nothing to say. The Stoic Strategist uses silence as a declaration. When you enter a room, and you do not feel the need to fill the air with your resume, your jokes, or your opinions, you are broadcasting a frequency of power that cannot be faked. This is the inner citadel that Marcus Aurelius guarded with his life. It is the realization that your internal world is your only true property. If you are constantly speaking, you are letting the world inside your fortress. You are letting the noise, the chaos, and the opinions of others occupy the throne of your mind. To reach God mode, you must practice the 24-hour silence. Can you go one full day without explaining yourself? Can you let a misunderstanding happen without rushing to correct it? Can you achieve a massive goal and tell no one but your own reflection in the mirror? The true strategist knows that the loudest applause is the silence of his own satisfaction. Remember this, power is not about being the loudest. It is about being the most certain. When you are silent, you are grounded in your own reality. You are not a leaf blown by the wind of social pressure. You are the mountain. Machiavelli would tell you to be feared. Aurelius would tell you to be virtuous. Sun Tzu would tell you to be invisible. But the Stoic Strategist tells you to be unshakable. The world is a storm of noise. Everyone is screaming for attention. Everyone is begging for a like. Do not be like everyone else. Become a ghost in the machine. Become a king in the reality of power. If you have stayed with us until the very end, you are already part of the elite few who understand that silence is not empty. It is full of answers. Subscribe to the Stoic Strategist. Join the legion of those who choose depth over noise and strategy over reaction. Master your emotions. Command your environment. Keep your plans dark and your strike like thunder. Until next time.